Here's the Yom Yom for today. On this day, the 24th of Tevet, the first Rebbe of God passed away in the village of Piena on Saturday night on Parshat Shmot. He is buried in the city of Hadich, which is like 100, 200 miles away from there. My grandfather, there's I don't know if they went up. I think they go up this year also because of the war. Maybe they didn't. I'll have to ask people. But I went up several years in a row. My grandfather, Rebbe Shmuel, asked the Tzemach Tzedek, what did the Alter Rebbe, Rebbe Shmuel, he was the fourth Rebbe. This is being written. Let me give my pointer over here. This is written by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe Yosef Yitzchak, and he's saying, my grandfather, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe. My grandfather was the fourth Rebbe, Rebbe Shmuel. He asked his father, the Tzemach Tzedek, was the third Rebbe, what did the Alter Rebbe intend when he said the ways of Chassidut and Chassidut, Darkei Chassidut and Chassidut. Chassidut are the books, and the ways of Chassidut are what we learn from them. What does it mean? The Tzemach said it like this. The ways of Chassidut are especially that all the Chassidim are supposed to be like one family, with love. Like the Torah teaches us, Chassidut is vitality. Chassidut is life. Bring life and illumination into everything. To shed light even on what's not good. To be able to see something good and to be able to ignore the not good or to fix up the not good. And especially to be aware of your own negative things exactly as it is. Don't fool yourself in order to correct it. So what are the ways of Chassidut? Is that the Chassidim should see only good in the other Chassidim, even though that each one has a different personality, and sometimes there's personalities that really clash, but they should see only the good in the other, and to fix yourself up and the whole world as much as possible, to see the good in everything, and to bring out the good that's in everything that there is. One of my teachers told me, his name was Rabbi Abba Pliskin, of blessed memory, as I was at for bringing, and he said, I'll tell you a story that he told. This will be the story. Somebody asked him, what is a chassid? And he said, a chassid is a person that doesn't fool himself. Doesn't fool himself. So that came from the second Rebbe of Chabad. That's what his definition. A chassid is a person that doesn't fool himself. Right? You learn what is a Jew, what is Torah, what is the commandments. Right? Then you learn what you're supposed to do. You don't fool yourself. You don't make up excuses. Okay, now, tomorrow, that was today, right? 1 second, chat. I don't know. I don't listen to the news. I mean, a little bit. You're asking me if the ceasefire, I don't listen. I gave up. I used to sort of listen. I started to be interested in it. Now I'm totally not interested. Doesn't make any difference to me. It doesn't make any difference what Trump does, what he doesn't do, what he does. What he says about Israel, what he doesn't say about Israel, what he thinks, what he goes, what he learns, what he drinks, what he this. It makes the nice guy, talented person. There's a saying in the world that power corrupts, ultimate power corrupts ultimately. Up to now, he hasn't had any power. I mean, you learn this from the Israeli politicians. They promise the world everything they're going to be. They promise you everything. And then after they get elected, you can't find them. They're just not, I said that. I didn't. The famous one was Arik Sharon. He was going to be strong. He was going to get those arrows out of here, those terrorists. And then he just gave away all of Gaza. And they said, what are you doing? It's the opposite of what you said you were going to do. He said, you don't see things from here than you saw from there. Right? Then I was talking about as a regular citizen. Now I'm looking from above. I see things different. So you can never tell what's going to happen. Right? We'll see what's going to happen. I mean, Trump was a very interesting person, and the people that were against him, this whole woke thing is just, totally self-destructive and insane and the opposite of everything that mankind stands for. Just, so I was very happy that he won over them. But on the other hand, he definitely is not Moshiach, and he definitely is, we cannot depend on him for our salvation. No way. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. But we have to concentrate now on doing Torah, doing the commandments, doing this. I go and visit the soldiers. I was there 2 days ago. I was there in an army base where they have and I played guitar and they all liked it. And they really, they were happy and dancing. And someone came over to me and said, I was depressed for months and you made me happy. And said, I go and put the fill in every day on the soldiers. And I just do good. And I don't ask them anything. Whenever I see a soldier, I say, thank you very much for protecting me. And not one of them said, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. They know it's true. And they're not getting enough thanks. They're not getting enough thanks. So did it come into effect? I don't know. If the ceasefire did come into effect, it cannot possibly last long because immediately the Arabs and they they go against there was a famous thing with when they made when Begin made the agreement with Egypt, and so we withdrew all of our troops. We gave them back to Sinai, and it was Begin did it, right? Yeah, we gave him back to Sinai with Yamit, with all this stuff. And the Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, said immediately, one day after we made the agreement, Egypt already defiled it. Egypt already went against it. They brought missiles up to El Arish, the Israeli said, and they're already there. And you can stop it, but what can you do? The Israelis have no identity. They have no identity. They don't really feel the land is ours because God gave it to us. They don't really know why we're here, except to be safe. Safe at this. Okay, let's go. Enough of that. I don't know if there was a ceasefire. Here we go. Let's do the tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah. See, I got all these X's over here. Where am I? Here we go. From my father's sichot, going out of Egypt means leaving limitations and all boundaries. And Chassidut, this is the previous Rebbe speaking, right? So he's saying what his father, the fifth Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab, Rebbe Shalom Dober, he said, Chassidut enables a man, enables us to leave the restrictions of the material world. In other words, the physical world and what happens in the world does not have such a negative effect on us. We are left by we can not be, how you say, restricted in our service of God by the physical world. There's a difference. When the Jewish people left Egypt, they shattered and left. They had to leave Egypt. They destroyed it. Chassidut exodus that we're talking about now, it doesn't mean to destroy anything. It means to purify ourselves and to correct the world, stepping out of our worldly limitations, that the world doesn't have a negative effect on us, but we remain in the world. That's why we're here, is to fix up the world. That means while functioning in the world, we have to transcend its limitations. That is going out of Egypt. We're in the world, and the world doesn't affect us negatively, and we do affect the world positively. We are to remove the limitations and boundaries and perceive the truth, that the world is good. Since, after all, the natural world is what God wanted. He wants there to be a world. And this is by the service of Chassidut. We see in, there is, a lot, there used to be these videos, I hated them, about people playing practical jokes on other people. The people they had a video, their video, what is it, their cellular phone, they had on a long extension so that they could take pictures, and someone would come along with a wire cutter and cut them off, and they would say that people would laugh, it's sadistic things, pulling the chair out from people, everybody laughs, right? Terrible. I just hated those things. I hate, and I would write that person who did that, I hope that he gets beaten up and he gets sued and he gets put in jail. Terrible, because it shows that people are bad and that the world is bad. Then they started putting, I guess, whatever you look at, they send you more on YouTube. So then there were YouTubes about people doing good things. A man standing in the street and he pretends that he's blind and he's got $100 bill in his hand and he says to people, "Could you change this $10 bill for me, please?" and people came up to him and they said, I'm sorry, $10. People came up to him and said, my friend, that's not a $10 bill. That's a $100 bill, right? Oh, then all of a sudden you see, oh, there's good people in the world. There's people that do good things, right? This is wonderful. And the more you look at that, the more good things they send you in the YouTube. They send you more people doing good things, helping a dog, helping an old lady across the street, helping on this, that's that, right? They show it's good to help people. It's a good thing, right? So good brings more good. That's what the Rebbe is saying. Here the Rebbe is talking about doing good, but also your attitude. If it's a good attitude, that has a spiritual effect on other people's attitudes. And if you do what it says in the Torah, it has a holy effect. We don't see it, but it does. That's going out of Egypt. That's going out of Egypt. Going out of the limitations, the negative limitations of people to break practical jokes or to be worried or to be depressed or to have desires and taivas and things like that. The more you increase good, the more good there is. Okay, story.